This is We the Sales Engineers podcast, so 312 or 312.
Welcome to We the SEs podcast, the show for sales engineers by sales engineers with your host, Ramsey Majaba.
What's up, SE Nation? Now, with all that information given the fact that corporations spend a lot of money on marketing, I think the biggest lead generators are sales engineers, or at least they could be. And I see sales engineers, and I think I've said this in previous podcasts. Sales engineers are small scale marketers. What's the difference between product marketing and sales engineering? I mean, beyond sales engineers have to do discovery and they have to work with account managers and all that. But when it comes to showing the product, doing the demos, that is all storytelling. That's product marketing. We're marketing the product for 3 or 4 people that are in the room, showing them that we can solve their problem and they should buy from us. Whereas product marketing, they're not talking to specific people. It's more of a scaled storytelling. So that's why sales engineers are small scale marketers, in my opinion. And not only do we talk to the audience directly, like we're talking to the CISO or talking to users or whoever it is, we're getting their immediate feedback. Whereas product marketers are creating something, put it on the website as a blog or some form of content or YouTube video. There may be some comments, but nobody comments on corporate YouTube channels, or not many people comment on corporate YouTube channels. They get what they want and they move on. So when SEs are doing their presentation, their demo, we can see the customer right there and then. We can hear their tone of voice when they're asking the questions. We are knowing what's important to them. So that puts us in a position to be effective marketers in that sense. um, and depending on the type of SE, depending on the type of company that the SE works for, the way we market can change. So if we're working, for example, in a startup, well, there might not be a marketing person or a product. There might be a corporate marketing, not a product marketing, and now the SE is everything. But if you're working for an established company and as an SE, you're working for an enterprise environment, you're 100% you're the number one lead generator. Like, I work with enterprise companies, and I would say maybe 3% of my leads come from a lead source, like they downloaded a white paper. And I usually get this email saying, hey, this customer downloaded this white paper. And then I have to tell them, oh, don't worry, I know this customer. So then I have to go talk to the customer and see, hey, you just downloaded this. Do you need help? So we know everybody there. So, now, how do people, or how can SEs market? And again, there are multiple ways. But if, let's say, you're an enterprise SE, then one of the ways I generate leads, it's walking the halls, or that's what I call it. And visiting the customer, just walking in their building and meeting people. And a lot of times they tell me, oh, we need this, we need that. I had one opportunity where I walked in, I had just sold something or helped sell something to a customer, to one team. And he looks at me and says, the team downstairs is looking for the exact same thing. So I walked all the way downstairs, met with him, did a discovery right then and there, talked to my account manager, closed the deal. And because I have that relationship. So when you're an enterprise SE, walking the halls, jumping on Zoom calls, it doesn't have to be physically walking the halls. You can be jumping on Zoom calls, grabbing lunch with a customer, coffee, listening to people. You have one person that you helped at this company move to that company. These are all lead generation methods. And most of the deals, like when I was a pure SE, I brought in a lot of opportunities to my salesperson. Not only are they opportunities, they're qualified opportunities to an extent, they're good opportunities. They might not have the budget today, but they're interested and they're going to budget for it for next quarter, next year, whatever it is. So that's one way. The second way for enterprise SEs is to develop great relationships with customers, so that when a customer has a question or has a need, as an SE, you're the first person they contact. Right? Right now, I'm in sales mostly than SE, than sales engineering, and I feel sad when a contact of my SE reaches out to me for information instead of my SE. The SE should have built that relationship, and I have a great SE who builds relationships with other people. And when I get a direct request from a user, then I know that, okay, maybe my SE needs to build a better relationship with that person. We can provide guidance. But we get so many of this. Can you do this question? Can your product do this? And this product can't, but the other product can. Or, hey, this is a new feature, that's an upsell. So we can and do a lot of that as enterprise solutions engineers. We're very much involved in the day to day. And not only that, we can see what's coming in the future. Like, I'm lead generating for now, but I'm also lead generating and account planning for the future. I think I have an entire video about account. Yeah, I have a podcast about account planning. So check that out as well. Now, if you're not an enterprise SE and you're, well, enterprise SE is like just a label. If you work directly with a lot of customers that you do over and over, you can do that. But if, let's say, you're a small to medium business SE, where everything's transactional, and that would be difficult to build that relationship to get more opportunities. I mean, if you do in such a short period of time, that means you're amazing at building relationships, and that's a good thing. So you can keep getting requests and you can keep sharing it with your account manager. But if you're not, I mean, which is normal because SMBs is transactional. You come in, you do the demo, you move on to the next demo, you move on to the next demo. You're not building relationships. Then there are other ways to actually be small scale marketers. Um, and we can do it like you can do it through one of the most common ways that are available today is trade shows and events. You go to event, you sit at a booth, you show stuff, you talk about stuff, and now you just generated a lead. Um, from my perspective, this could be you, or this could be someone from product marketing, or it could be a salesperson. It could be anybody. So it's not really specific to sales engineers. But where I think sales engineers could actually excel is in content creation. And there are different ways, different types of content, right? Well, I'm saying, right? Different types of content in the sense that it could be a webinar, could be a YouTube video, how to, could be knowledge based articles. So, different ways of providing the same information. Could be stories, how you've worked with customers and how you've helped customers. Now, the bigger the company, the less you're able to do it unless you're AWS. It seems that AWS encourages SEs to actually just start their YouTube channels and do stuff. So if you want to look at an example of that, check out Trevor Spires. He has a lot of AWS stuff on his website. Some of it is about certification, some of it is about using AWS for a certain application, but he's basically talking about AWS and building credibility and getting people to see what AWS does. But for example, my company, my previous company, I couldn't post anything online about our product because there's this misconception or perception that if I post any information, I'm sharing competitive information with a customer, with a competitor. So they don't want us to do that. Also, they made me jump through hoops. Like, hey, can I do this? Like, oh yeah, but you have to after you edit it, you have to send it to us, and we have to approve it, and then we have to add the banners and all the stuff that makes it a corporate video. And I'm like, no, this is too many hoops. But I can talk about the industry. Actually, a good example of that, if you're looking for a book, is Patrick Pasang's book, The Social Sales Engineer, where all he does is talk about how that fictional story that's in the fictional character that's in the book overcame that exact example where marketing didn't want an SE to talk about stuff. Excuse me. So that could be done. You don't need permission to do that. If people come and say anything about it, well, you're not mentioning anything about the company. You're talking about the industry as a whole. But that will generate leads in some way, shape, or form. At least if it does generate leads for you, it gives you credibility because you're an industry expert at that time. So you can create industry blogs, industry videos. You can talk about industry podcasts. And the hardest part about marketing versus sales engineering is when you're doing sales engineering and you're doing a demo in front of the customer, there's a direct result for that right after. Right? You either moved on to the next step or you did not. Right? You either failed the demo or succeeded at the demo. With marketing, it's very hard because you can create stuff for years and not know if it's actually doing anything. Case in point, like We the Sales Engineers podcast, I've been going around for years now, and I still don't know if it's like there isn't immediate feedback for me to know. I hear from people every once in a while. I listen to your podcast; it was great and all that, and I'm grateful for that. But it is not an immediate need, and people have to go out of their way to let you know if it's useful or not. So when you're doing these videos and these articles, you're gonna have to give it time. so that you can see the results later. The results are not immediate. Webinar, you might have to get people involved from your corporate marketing or events to have like a Teams link or WebEx or Zoom that's specifically for webinars to collect information for people to sign up. But you can still do that. You can do a lot of it, and I think it's important for people to do it. So if you were going to do, the different types are like informational about the industry, informational about the product. There could be how to's, like how to configure X, how to do Y. All this could be part of that. Stories, success stories, where you can share that information. That's usually useful on podcasts. For example, you can be hosted on a podcast where you talk about this is how we solve some problems. You might not be able to state or mention specific customers or products, but generally in a vague way, you can talk about the solutions. And this is whether you're enterprise, small to medium business, it's usually reserved for more senior SEs, but even as a junior SE, you can start thinking and writing and talking about it. And it could be as simple as LinkedIn posts about the technology, about the industry. So it doesn't have to be complicated. And some people think like, oh, I have to write a 3,000 word blog. Some LinkedIn posts that are 5 lines or 3 lines are more impactful than a 5,000 word blog, because who has time to read 5,000 words? So if you were to plan to do this, something to look at is, what did I want to achieve from before you actually start writing anything? So what is it that you want to achieve? Are you doing it to generate leads? Because that might not be the purpose. The purpose is, I'm doing it to show that I'm a thought leader in this industry and maybe get leverage this to a better job. Nothing wrong with that. But you have to know your end goal. What is the desired outcome? How do you measure it? And you can start off by 0 views, right? And then it will grow, hopefully, if you're consistent. You have to think about how often you want to do it. Is it once a week, once a month, once a quarter? How often do you want to output content as an individual SE? And that's dependent on how much time you have, how much knowledge you have, how complex is the thing that you want to show, how complex is the editing of the thing that you want to show. And if you're creating a YouTube video, are you going to edit a lot? Are you not going to edit? If you're creating a blog, who's going to edit your grammar? Because I suck at grammar. Who's going to edit my grammar? Usually it's my wife. My wife has 3 kids. That's delaying everything. Well, we have 3 kids. It's not just my wife. But if the kids are sick, she's home with them. That takes away time from her helping me with my editing. So all these things to consider when you're thinking about it. Also, is it a topic that you enjoy talking about? So, and do you have enough? Is there enough things to actually talk about? Gary, who is it? Gary Vaynerchuk. He basically said a while back that if you're looking to do that, get a piece of pen and paper and just write down 50 ideas of 50 blogs that you might want to write out, or YouTube videos, whatever it is that you want to do. And you can just write it down, and you can create marketing content. Hey, I'm going to be publishing this at this time, and see, am I able to publish once a quarter? If yes, am I able to publish once every 2 months? And then modify. And am I getting the results? Am I enjoying it? Am I hating it? If you're hating it, there's no point in doing it. I mean, sometimes we all have to do things that we hate, but it doesn't have to be self-inflicted. Is the outcome does the outcome outweigh the effort, or outweigh the feeling that I get from doing this? All these things are good to think about. And if you're a junior SE, it could push you into a senior role. If you're a senior, it can put you into a principal, or it can help you get a job, help you improve within your company, get better standing, and all that. So that's one specific topic I wanted to talk about. I'm actually, there's a lot of things to talk about from the back end perspective, but I just wanted to focus today on the marketing side. So I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any questions, please reach out. Let me know. Happy to help. And with that, I'm signing off.